So my ex and I were technically together for about 6 years. But the last 2 to 3 have been more tumultuous than usual, and for the last year, we have barely been speaking, although still living together. When we did speak or engage, it was usually extremely petty. There were still a few times we would engage with one another, and it was pleasant or friendly, but mainly it was either one of us being rude or petty to the other. Anyway, the last year of us being together, he wasn't really working. He'd had a pizza delivery job where he would work maybe 2 days a week and would always end up being sent home after maybe 1 or 2 hours on the job. He has had several jobs prior where he lost them, due to being generally irresponsible and sometimes due to racism on the part of the managers, but mainly due to his lack of responsibility. Anyway, due to his constantly being sent home, I mentioned that maybe it would be better if he just did the Insta shopping, and for a while that worked and he was making a decent amount of money, at least more than he was making as a pizza delivery guy. He was doing the Insta shopping for a little while and was doing it every single day from sun up to sundown. I suggested that maybe he take at least 1 day out of the week to himself so he doesn't get burnt out. We shared my car, so he would take me to work and shop while I was at work, and then continue shopping after he picked me up. Eventually, it got to the point where he wouldn't shop while I was at work. I did trip on him one day for being over an hour late to pick me up, but he would shop as soon as I got home. That eventually turned into him not starting to shop until about 7 or 8 at night, when everything closed around 11. In that time frame, he was likely to only get 1 or 2 orders, and he was well aware of that when he was shopping consistently or prior when he was working consistently. He would help with the rent or the bills, but I was the main one who took care of those, as well as purchased groceries and other household items for our use. When he stopped shopping as much, he stopped helping with any of the aforementioned and only purchased food, toiletries, for himself, and would make sure he had his alcohol and tobacco products with the bit of income he was bringing in. Well, anyway, to my point, one weekend my father came to visit me. I had been healing from a broken bone and needed a little help around the place, since my ex wasn't doing anything that wasn't for himself. My ex was extremely rude to my father, who, mind you, was the main one that helped us out financially when we needed. Sort of acted as a father figure to my ex and was a major contributor to my ex's wardrobe, given that he's a grown man, I guess, and doesn't really owe him any respect in the way of even a friendly greeting. So whatever. Anyway, the whole time my father was there, he spent most of the time harassing me, calling me all sorts of sluts and nonsense in front of my father. He even went outside where my father was questioning us to continue talking nonsense about me in front of his family. Well, I guess my father had gotten fed up and told him to stop. According to my ex, my father got in his face and was threatening him. Who knows? Things escalated from there, and my landlord was called, and I basically told him to get this dude out of here because I wasn't about to continue paying rent for someone who could be this disrespectful. The locks end up being changed, and he gets a ticket that he didn't pay for back to his hometown. So I have been going back and forth with myself ever since on if I was completely out of line. My parents feel no remorse and feel he had it coming, as does my landlord, but I wonder if we are wrong feeling so justified. I especially feel bad knowing that, although he has buku family in his hometown, they are not very supportive of him. He didn't really have anywhere to go. Next story.
Me and my GF have been dating for about 2 months. We're long distance and met for the first time a little over a week ago. When we first met, she talked about a private Twitter she had. I asked to follow it. She said she only really lets close friends follow. I figured and understood. After we got closer and started dating, she showed me some screenshots tweeting about a crush she had on me. I thought it was really sweet. Then I asked if I could follow again. She said, I'm still nervous because I don't let people follow it very often. I figured that was all right and I waited. I was patient and I didn't ever really bring it up until a few days before I was going to see her. I wanted to ask if I could see it because the past few days I had felt a little left out of her life. I noticed her mood was a little down, but she wasn't really telling me anything. She was talking about little funny things she posted on her private Twitter, and I brought up following it again. She said, "I'm not sure that's scary," and we talked and joked about it for a while. Then she said, I'll let you follow it when her friend lets her friend's boyfriend follow hers. This cut kinda deep. It was no longer about her sharing something with me because she could trust me. It was about doing it because her friend would. So I dug deeper and told her it hurt my feelings. Then she reveals it's because whenever she had a problem with me, she would tweet about it. Her account only had 70 followers, but that's still 70 other people who saw her problems with me before I did. It took a long time to resolve the issue and for her to give me a real genuine apology after a lot of her taking an unnecessary amount of blame and overblowing the whole thing, and not just hearing me that I was hurt that she went behind my back. And even one time she tried deflecting the entire thing by saying, I'm worried about you and how little sleep you're getting. It took so long for her to give me a real apology, but she did, and it meant a lot. Fast forward 2 days ago, and it's been a week since I've seen her in person, and I still feel shut out. I still feel like there are things that she doesn't talk about, and she isn't as open with me. When we first met, she told me that she used to be an EDTWT, and that it's something she's moved on from. I never judged and never questioned. I used to struggle with anorexia and was in a lot of toxic self-harm spaces on the internet in middle school and high school. In an effort to get her to open up with me even a little, I asked her to share the EDTT with me. She asked, will you be mad with me if I don't? And I said no, but I also can't lie and pretend like I haven't been satisfied with how little you've been opening up to me. And we went back and forth where she would say, but I don't want to make you upset, and I would say, you don't need to show me. I'm allowed to be upset. Your comfort and your safety comes first. And it ended with her saying, I really want to show you, and I let her. I even gave her one more opportunity to back out before clicking on the account. After I looked through it, I was gentle. I made sure she knew this changed nothing, and that I will always love her, and that I'm sorry. I was a little disappointed to see how recent some of the posts were, and that she lied about how recently she was using it, but I wasn't mad. Then she said she felt like I backed her into a corner. I gave her every single opportunity to back out and not show me, and she said she feels overexposed, and that she never wanted me to see that, even though 312 people followed that account. 312 people I didn't know. I got upset and asked her why she feels overexposed to me, but not 300 random people. And she told me that the Twitter was never her interacting with people, it was just shouting into the void, which was a complete lie. She regularly replied to people and engaged with the community. I pointed this out. We then went back and forth for a long time. She said that it was hard for her to open up to people. She has no problem opening up to all these people. She had no problem telling 70 people online about problems between me and her. A bunch of those people she didn't even know, and had no problem with 300 people seeing this part of herself. It's not a bad side of her, but it's something I feel like I deserved to hear about and see. I have shared everything with her. And now I feel like I've overshared because all of a sudden I'm not worth sharing these kinds of things with. I'm not worth letting into these spaces of hers. And it's not like they're all just random people. A bunch of them are friends that I've met and talked to, all of which heard about this stuff before me. I don't know what to do.